Hey guys, I am Luis Miguel Cruz, and for today I'm going to be teaching you about different types of SQL queries and what they do. So first, we have our first query here, which is the create query. So it can create a database or a table. So let's now try to create a database first. Let's try to run this query. So as you can see, I have created a database named SQL queries. So let's now use this database so that I can add more queries. And there you go. So now let's try to create a table, which is the customers. It has a column of customer ID, name, phone number, and address. So let's now insert some values on this table. Okay, so there you go. Let's create more table named orders. It has column of order ID, customer ID, total amount, order date. So there you go. Let's now insert some values to it. So there you go. So let's now start on the alter query. So this alter query adds another column in customer table with a data type of varchar with a maximum of 50 size of a character. So let's now try to run this. So there you go. So to see if it adds another column, let's try to select from that table. So there you go. It adds another column named email. So next query is the rename. So we have accept XP rename from customers to clients. So from customers, it will be changed into clients. Now let's try to execute this. So there you go. So this query won't run anymore since I've changed the customer's name into clients. So let's try to see if it will run if it is clients. So there you go. So we have the select query, which as you can see earlier, I'm doing this so that it returns a value of specific table or column input. So as you can see, it shows all the values of the tables. So we have now the insert query. As you can see, I've already done this earlier, which it adds a value to a table. But let's run this query again. So there you have it. Now we have the update query. So this updates the value of client's address to make it Taguig City. So depending on the um, ID. Okay. So let's try to run this. So let's see if it changed the address of the customer 106. So as you can see here, it's now Tobacco City. Next is the delete query. So this deletes all the records in respects to the order ID. So I to run this. So there you go. Let's see if it deletes all the records from that ID. So as you can see, there is no more order ID here. The order ID number 3 values. So let's now proceed to the TCL commands. First, we have the commit. So in this query, you have to begin the transaction first. You need to run this first, and then perform these SQL operations. Okay, execute, and then we can now run the commit query. So the commit query, it saves the changes that made within this transaction. Okay, so let's now proceed to another query called rollback. So first, we need to begin the transaction first. And there you go. So update client set name to Casilim where the customer ID is 104. See? So let's see if it changes the the name of the ID, customer ID number 4. Select all from clients. So there you go. It is now Cassie Lim. And now let's try to roll back. So the rollback command, it cancels the changes made within this transaction. So this is no longer done. Let's try to see if it goes back to the old name of the customer ID. So there you go. It changes from Casilim back to the Cassandra Cruz. Okay. So lastly, we have in the TCL commands is the save point. So we need to begin the transaction first. So save the transaction to save point 1. Perform the SQL operation. Then save again to transaction to save point 2. And then run again an SQL operation. And now let's try to roll back transaction to save point 1. So this query is essential if you can roll back to save point 1 using the rollback statement. Okay. So let's now proceed to where clause. So if I run this query, it retrieves the values from the client's table where the address column has the value of Sunrise Village, Pasig City. Next is the like clause. So it retrieves all the rows from the client's table where the name column starts with the letter C. So as you can see here, it retrieves the name Cassandra Cruz because it starts from C. And now we have the order by clause. Let's try to run this program, try to this query. So as you can see, this query, it sorts the row by its total amount from the lowest to higher amounts. As you can see here. Um, Let's now try the group by clause query. Let's try to execute this. So this group by clause query, it retrieves the count of orders for each customer from the orders table. As you can see here, all of the customer has ordered for 1. So we now have um, the having clause query. So let's try to run this. So this query naman is it retrieves the address and the count of customers as num-customers for each unique address from the client's table. So it includes only the address that have at least one customer, as you can see here using the count function. So let's now proceed to the distinct keyword. Let's try to run this, execute this query. So by using this distinct keyword, the query will only return the unique values from the address column in the client's table. So any duplicate values will be eliminated in this query. Let's now proceed to the AND and OR operator. So let's run this query. So as you can see here, it used to combine the multiple where clause. So it displays um the name where in Luis de la Cruz and the phone number is like this 0912-345-6789. Okay. Now we have the OR operator. So in this query, it must return a value where it has a customer ID of 101 or a total amount of 15. Now, we have the division operator. Let's try to run this query first. So this query retrieves the result of dividing the total amount column in the orders table by 2 for each of the row. Okay. Let's now to let's now proceed to the different type of SQL functions. So first, we have the count. Okay. Let's try to run this first. So this query gives a result with a column named order count. So it represents the total count of orders in the orders table. So the count function counts the number of the rows in the table and the result will be displayed. Now, next we have the sum function. Let's run this. So this query gives a column named total spent. So it represents the total sum of the total amount values in the orders table. So this sum function, it calculates the sum of the values. And now we have the average function. So this query gives a result named average spent, which is the average value of total amount values in the orders table. So the average function, it calculates the average of the values. So now we have the mean function. So to run this, so this query, it identifies the smallest value from this column, which is 1, 2. And now we have the max function. So it does the opposite of mean function, wherein this function identifies the largest value from this column total amount. And finally, we have the round function. So this query gives a result named rounded amount. So it represents the total amount values that are rounded into decimal places. So basically this function, it performs the rounding operation. Let us now proceed to the SQL joins. So first we have the inner join. So let's try to run this program first. So this SQL join gives a result which include all columns from both tables for the matching records based on the customer ID. Now we have the left join. So this SQL join gives you a result that includes the name column from the client's table and the total amount column from the orders table. So as you can see, the result will include all the records from client's table and if there is a matching record in the orders table. So the total amount value will be displayed, and if there is no match, the total amount value will be null for those records. As you can see here, null records. So let's now proceed on the right join. So in the right join query, it includes all the records from the right table, which is the orders, and the only matching records from the left table, clients. And if there is no match, the columns from the left table will contain a null values. And we finally have the full join query. So this SQL join query gives you a result that contain all the records from both tables, matching records where the customer ID values match, and a null values for columns where there is no match. So now we have the SQL views. So this query gives a view called order details. So it includes all the order ID, customer ID, order date, and then the total amount columns from the orders table. So when you select that view and then run it, it will show the order ID, customer ID, order date, and then the total amount. And now we have the truncate table. So the truncate query empties all the data from the orders table. So let's try to run it. And let's now try to see if it empties all the values. So as you can see, there are no more values in the orders table. And now let's try to drop that table. So this query deletes all the entire orders table from the database. So let's see if it has been deleted. So as you can see here, the order table has been deleted now. So that is all the SQL queries. I hope you learned something from me and thank you. Bye bye.